just beautiful.
When I state that this is a game changer in tiny house design, I'm not kidding. This is the smartest space-saving strategy in a tiny house I think I've ever seen. We'll send it, let's
To build
go.
a beautiful tiny house, to have land for animals and space to spread out. That really is the tiny house homestead dream. And here in Queensland, we're about to meet a beautiful family who have made that dream their reality.
Oh, they also have a big shed. This is cute! Oh my god! Oh, it's not a shed. Oh, this is cute.
How did you come to be living in a tiny home?
So it's been a bit of a journey
This is
for
like,
us.
this is so stunning. It's such a clean, tiny house. I love the white, like, corrugated exterior here. The wood is also beautiful. Oh man, I'm so jealous. This is goals.
And it took a little bit of convincing initially.
And so what was it that convinced you in the end?
I think it was definitely just getting that open space and being able to get out with the chickens and
They have
cows,
kids
and
too.
we've got a little
Interesting.
4.5-year-old, so we wanted him to grow up having that
Aw.
lifestyle of just being out and about instead of a little cookie cutter block. We wanted him to be out in the open, and we wouldn't have been able to afford a big
I
home
love how
with,
forested
big
their land
and
is
a big
too.
house, so we thought, let's go tiny.
The like outdoor space here, this is why I wanted to watch this video. I love this. I love that they have a dining space, they have an outdoor living room, they even have a bar pass through, which I assume this is the kitchen then on the left hand side. Like, I love this. The only like qualm that I guess I would have for myself is we are located in Canada and we only have nice weather for maybe 4 months of the year. Our growing season is very small. So I want to do some kind of exterior living space like this. And I think what I envision maybe working towards like kind of enclosing it in a little bit and then having it be heated. Whether that be via like gas or even just via like wood, like getting a wood burning stove and having it be like kind of this more like sunroom kind of indoor outdoor thing. I'm so jealous. This is so beautiful.
And the original tiny house is actually a B&B now on your property, isn't it?
That's actually another tiny house.
Oh, okay.
So we're
had
just
three.
collecting tiny houses.
Yeah, you sure are.
No, we sold our last tiny house. It was too big. This one's actually smaller. So the last tiny house was 9 meters long, or a bit bigger than 9 meters, whereas this one's 8.5.
But we got a lot of tips from that one to bring to this one, and I think we've nailed it this time.
Okay, prime example of how it's the quality of the design, not the quantity. And I had this major qualm with last Friday we watched a tiny house tour. It was like a gigantic tiny house tour. And I was very, very curious because I was like, what more are they getting out of this then that you can't get from a conventional tiny house? And I don't think that one, it was 39 feet long, which to give some perspective, my 1950s bungalow is 30 feet wide, so it was 9 feet longer than my house is, and it was still not enough for their clothes and their outdoor wear, and they had to build separate buildings for those needs, even though the house was massive. And this is an example of it again. They are able to get more out of their space, even though it's smaller, just by tweaking and making adjustments that are more aligned with how they will actually use the space. It's cool. Quality over quantity.
So we're really collecting little tiny buildings of all sorts, kind of like
That
the same
tub! Look at this! In the corner! This would be... Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell a story. 2 years ago now, we went to a music festival, and after the music festival was done, it was a camping music festival, so we were there and gross. And after that, we went to some friends of ours that was only like an hour away. It was very close. And they lived in an off-grid yurt, and they did not have a bathroom in the yurt or a shower. They had like an outdoor system. And so their shower was all outdoor in Canada, where it snows like 6 months of the year, by the way. They still used it in the winter. I don't know how, but the water was fed from the river that went through the property. So that's where they got their shower water from. And then it was propane heated. And the shower was like the three sides that kind of faced more the house and the yard where someone could maybe see were walled off, but the side that wasn't walled off just like opened into this beautiful downhill forest stretch, and it was literally like a magic fairy tale, and it was the best shower I've ever had in my life. It was so stunning. It was so beautiful. Like being able to have an outdoor like bathtub space like this would be so clutch. It'd be so sick.
We've got an outdoor bathroom, a beautiful outdoor bathroom.
Look at it. Oh my
We've got a
God,
little
it's so
laundry
beautiful.
space.
We've got a modular as well, which is 4x3 in size, and it's kind of like a big change from us from the last one. It gives us an extra bit of space for Luca to have his little playroom, or if we've got guests coming over and they want to stay and pull out the couch, that just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and that extra modular.
You could almost do that too as like an extra working space, like a work from home space, which would be kind of nice because then like your work would be in an entirely separate building. But I do like this idea too of having almost like a little separated guest house, because a tiny space is very tiny, and I think that like if your parents were coming to visit or you had guests that were gonna stay for like a longer period of time, it would be really, really nice to have that degree of separation. I know like even myself personally, when I am a guest somewhere, I really appreciate having a room with a door that shuts, just because I'm a very introverted person. So sometimes I just like need that separation from the socialization to decompress. So I've seen a lot of tiny houses will just like have a hide-a-bed in the living room on the main floor, or they might even have like a separate loft, but those are still open to the greater living spaces. So I like this idea a lot.
Here in Queensland, it is famous for fantastic weather, and you are definitely capitalizing on all of that with this spectacular outdoor living space.
It's so
Queensland
beautiful.
is all about the outdoor
Being
living.
outdoors.
Yeah. So
Oh, it looks like here too that they do have they have the ability to pull these screens down. Like I imagine they're like shade screens where when the sun is setting, if you need to shut it, or maybe I wonder if they'll talk about it actually, because that's what it looks like. But maybe it is like another way of just walling it off in the off season when it's not as nice.
most of our time is spent kind of outside now on the stick.
And you've created some really nice flow between
Yeah,
the
so that must
outdoor
help with
area
weather
and the
then.
tiny house with the opening doors, and then you've got the breakfast bar here as well.
That's right.
Thank
yeah.
you.
We've
That's
just
so
pretty much
pretty.
Just finished that just for you.
Yeah.
Just
We'll
in
get your
time, eh?
Espresso
Yeah.
martinis going later.
And what about power here?
We're on mains on this tiny home, so in the future we'd love to get solar and be totally off grid because everything else is. Our other little tiny home on top of the hill there, that one there is fully off
We
grid.
did say that we
solar.
want to design
You
our
have
tiny
created
house to
such
be
an
off grid
amazing
too.
place for yourself.
And when you're designing for off grid, the one thing you have to take into account is the size of the systems that you're going to need in place. So when you install a solar system to power something as large as a tiny house, we're going to need to account for how many batteries we're going to need, the inverter, and like all of those items, and make sure that we have the space to incorporate it so that it is kind of close and enclosed off. I don't necessarily know. They might have it future-proofed for that already with the design, but I would like to just make sure that it's like considered. I'm obsessed with this one though, actually. Like I didn't really know what to expect aside from the large outdoor space, but like even the inside looks like it's gonna be stunning. I also am a huge proponent of white, except for in vans. At least just on the lower cabinets in vans, because you are camping. But in this situation, I think it's a little bit easier to get away with.
This is just beautiful.
This design, I think, is really close to the next one that we're gonna watch after. I can tell you that this looks like okay, see? Interesting. Oh, I kind of wanted to have like more variety in what we're gonna, but this is pretty. This is so pretty.
What a gorgeous home.
Thank you. We love it.
I love these chairs, like the beanbag chairs. I think that like sometimes the housing or like the sofa options in tiny houses, especially when it's built-in sofas, sometimes it just looks so uninviting, not very like comfortable to lounge at for long periods of time. This looks like it would be way more comfortable. I also freaking love the arches. I think this is so pretty. pretty. This is so pretty. I love the arches. I love the wood. I think this is so tasteful. This is stunning. This is really pretty. I love that they also have this like sliding door option too, which also, again, they're in a place with really nice weather, so they can have this option. But it really brings the outdoor and indoor spaces together, I think, when you can just like slide it open and have this really expansive entryway from the inside to the outside. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we've got the beautiful arched niches, which just is that little bit of artistic space.
Yes, it's so pretty. I wonder, they'll probably go through and talk about this. I wonder what this is beside the fridge, but this is like, this kitchen is so stunning. I love the shelves at the back. I love the, like, there's a good triangle between the fridge and the stove and the sink. I think it's beautiful.
The walkway is a big game changer. From our last tiny home, we had a little ladder, and look,
I
it was
love
good,
this too. So this is, okay, this walkway design, when I state that this is a game changer in tiny house design, I'm not kidding. This is the smartest space-saving strategy in a tiny house I think I've ever seen. You can see here that it's linear along the whole length of the house, but you can see on this left-hand side that it continues. I'm going to bet they still have to step up a little bit, but you still save the height in the bedrooms or like the lofts on either side, because all of the cabinets and the fridge and the things that you don't have to put your head under are put into that wall so that you do get the full height on the loft. It would flow so nice. It wouldn't feel like you are in like a tree fort or anything. This to me feels like it would be more like actually living in a regular size house. The first time I saw a design, this other house actually has this same execution and a little bit different, but not too different. And my jaw dropped. I was like, duh, this makes so much sense to do this. And then it's so nice because you get the full head space when you're on the second story. I think that is so good. This is also, I like that they have these louvers here. I would assume that this is entirely for circulation and airflow. The other house that we're going to watch actually doesn't have that, but I think that this is, especially in such a small space, especially when you're sleeping in the upper loft where heat rises, you need that natural ventilation and air movement in order to feel more comfortable. So I actually think this is incredibly smart to include this aspect of, or like this element within the design too. I'm obsessed with this. This is amazing.
And the kitchen is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. We love this little space.
It's really so pretty.
Well for our family.
If you'll remember too, one of the values that is in our tiny house design that we're going to incorporate is a full-size kitchen and a non-linear kitchen. This one is a U-shaped kitchen. I find that the like U or like the C-shaped kitchens are my personal favorite if you don't have an island, because I like the ability to kind of bounce between three sides. So I love this like style of kitchen design in a tiny house. I think it's so beautiful. And they had the farmhouse sink, which if you have kept up, I love them too. It looks like a concrete sink though. That's kind of cool.
As soon as I saw it, I had to have it, and I knew
it's a great way to add like another kind of natural texture without
gorgeous tapware as well.
Yep.
While still kind of maintaining the theme. Like I feel like if it was a white porcelain sink, it still might just feel like too much white. So I really like that little kind of like boop of like another natural texture. It flows so nice. I'm noticing that their stove doesn't have like a hood range or any way to kind of vent it, which I am personally more in favor of including that. I know that the window's right there, but I still think I'd like to see some kind of solution for that. But
purpose, and yeah, we just love
it's so pretty. It's so pretty.
Yep, full size oven, so we're not left wanting anything.
This hardware is really pretty too. I love the like vintage kind of brass feel.
Absolutely.
Right.
And over the other side we have your bathroom.
Yeah, that's our bathroom to there. We'll go take a look.
Let's take a look.
What is that? Oh, maybe a light on the back of the stairs here? I wonder, this must be a light, I think, on the wall here to illuminate the stairs at night, which is actually, I like incorporating that a lot too, because tiny house stairs seem to be a little bit precarious. The one thing I'm going to note, actually, just based on observation and eyeballing it, I think that the riser height of their stairs is a bit higher than what is conventional. So that's something that we'll have to take into account. Generally with building codes, there's a certain height that the riser can go, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it might be 9 to 10 inches or something like that. But this looks a little bit higher, which again would maybe warrant illuminating the stairs a little bit more, because you would just have to be a little bit more careful. But I would rather this than a ladder every day. Ooh.
Oh, this is lovely. Look at that sink.
Wow. I don't like surface countertop sinks. Just personally, that's like a thing that I don't really like. I find them a little bit challenging to wash my face in and stuff. I find them a little bit cumbersome. This one also looks very heavy, but the texture of it is really, really nice.
Love the sink. Yeah, it's just beautiful having that natural element and texture in the room.
You have a really good sized shower in here.
We do. It's pretty big. And
Oh, they have a
probably
door
bigger
off the
than what
back
we
too.
Needed, but it is just really luxurious.
Actually, the door off the back, especially in the bathroom, is really nice, especially if you were like coming in kind of like muddy or not very clean and you were hoping to just like hop right into the shower right away. This actually would be a good spot to build kind of like an exterior mudroom, sort of like we saw in the tiny house tour last Friday, how they had like a little like outdoor wear room off the back. Same deal. I like that it opens up into the bathroom like this. It's very, very nice. The bathroom is stunning. I love the idea of having a full-size shower. Kitchens and bathrooms are the two places that I think are most ideal to remain full-size. That's my opinion.
Incinerating toilet as well. How do you find that?
It's a bit of a change for us.
Oh,
We love
interesting.
compost
I'm not as
toilets,
familiar
so
with
it's a
incinerating
big
toilets.
Decision to get that. We just love this toilet. Like, it's great. We mainly use it at night time and on the rainy days because we've got a compost toilet at the back. But it is very good for like Luca to come down, and it's the most thing we love about it is it's maintenance free.
I love that they have all this storage in the wall here too. We should actually look into the differences between a composting toilet and an incinerating toilet. Like, I don't know what this needs to incinerate, like if it takes power or if it's on a natural gas line. I'd be curious about safety issues with it and stuff. So we'll dig into that when we do more of our like design development later.
And that's Luca's room up there, is it?
Yes, that is. So it's a small little loft space for him, but it's just got everything.
Oh my gosh, this bed is so close to the roof. This is so cute though. This is, I will say, it's very, very similar to the second house tour we're gonna watch after this, but the one aspect that I do love about this type of design is that the kids are able to get their own room. One of my biggest critiques, I'd say, with some of the nomadic, like small living families, I don't really like the idea of throwing all of my kids in one room, like one communal bunk room, or like with the bus life families where they just give their kids like a single bunk. I just know because, again, I'm a very introverted person and I was a very withdrawn, quiet kid. I really, really valued having my own space in my bedroom and being able to do whatever I wanted with it. So I like this a lot.
And then
It's cute. The one thing that I didn't see them show though is if this bedroom has a door on it or if it's just open. Because we'll see in the other design, they actually have doors on these bedrooms, and I love that too. So
is over the other side.
Sure is. Yep, it's a cozy little nook for us. Would you like to take a look?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Let's do it.
I've been critical about tiny houses having their clothing storage in the bedrooms in the loft, just because I think when you have a lower headroom and you have to like put away laundry or you want to change your clothes, I think that's a little bit difficult without the ability to stand at full height. So I like that they have incorporated in this design this space out front because they can still do that in their bedroom. I still, though, also really like the idea of incorporating clothing storage in the bathroom on the main floor and then just kind of saving the space in the bedroom more just for sentimental storage or art or something like that. So
but this little nook here, that's just the cabinetry, so we could have a little bit lower. Just makes it easier to
it's
get in and
like
out of.
And especially
genius.
as a
It's so
family, It
genius.
is nice having the two lofts connected by the walkway.
It's really lovely. It's made it flow really nicely and so much more functional, so that our little one gets up in the morning, runs over and jumps into bed with us. It's super easy, and if I need to get up in the middle of the night to him, I can, whereas the last home was more disconnected, and yeah, it just made it a bit harder.
That's actually a good point too, especially if you have two lofts on the opposite side and they're separated maybe by like two staircases or something. You're going down, 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 and then up, up, up. Or alternatively, with ladders, you're climbing down and then climbing up to get from one side to the other. I like this like fluidity between one side and the other side, just via this nice corridor. I will say I am kind of skeptical though about how well this design would function once your kid is more closer to their teenage years. And that's kind of why when I was saying that like my partner and I want to do the tiny house thing too, more as like a stepping stone to something a little bit more permanent, because I think while we do it maybe for like 5 years, we have talked about potentially starting a family. I think I'm kind of a one and done. I don't think I want more than one, but I don't know if my child would feel super comfortable when they're more in their like 11, 12, 13 years old, wanting to bring friends home from school and stuff like that, having their bedroom be a very confined loft, and especially when they get more into like 15, 16 years of age. So I think it's good at the beginning, but we would plan on kind of shifting to something else.
This tiny home was around $110,000. That was before any fixing, so Mika did hours and hours of searching online. So I'd say roughly around 120 in total, just for the tiny home. And then the decking's probably another 15 grand on top of that as well.
Yeah, that was 75,000 US. I think the Australian dollar is pretty close to the Canadian dollar, so 125. And he said 15 grand for the deck, which I think absolutely is worth the investment.
Mika
So
and Tom have
pretty.
created the most beautiful
So
home
pretty.
here. Not only is this a gorgeous tiny house, they also have the outbuildings, the acreage, the animals, and everything here just works together so beautifully. But what I love about being here is seeing how as a family they have really learned to prioritize their time together above all other things. Discovering what is innately important to us as human beings is the absolute essence of finding home, and that is exactly what they have discovered and created here.
Okay, yeah, so the upstairs kind of loft strategy is like, I absolutely want to use that in our tiny house design. I think it is genius. It's so smart. I'm obsessed. I actually find it so funny that we saw an example of it here because I was kind of saving it for last. So I'm a little surprised that that it was in this tour as well.